Evolution versus science. We have stated before in our videos that there is no scientific evidence that supports evolution. Furthermore, we have boldly proclaimed and demonstrated that actual scientific facts support the existence of God and disprove evolution. But specifically in this video, we want to go a little deeper into the evolution theory and bring to light its fallacies. To do this, we are going to discuss 5 topics that reinforce our statement against evolution. Number 1, the first law of thermodynamics. Now, if you've never heard of thermodynamics before, don't worry, it's not that complicated. You see, thermodynamics is a branch of physical science. Specifically, it focuses on energy. The very first law of thermodynamics states that energy cannot make or destroy itself naturally. It can only change form. To put it simply, everything in our natural world did not make itself. A tree does not sprout from the air. A baby does not wish itself into existence. In nature, everything has to be created by another thing. Nothing just naturally pops out of thin air. To argue this is to argue proven scientific law. Yet the evolutionists cling to the idea that at some point in history, something just naturally popped into existence, got together with some other things that just naturally popped into existence, and then exploded, naturally popping more things into existence, while simultaneously creating a perfect balance in every aspect of existence that can sustain everything that has life, naturally. The bottom line is this. According to this proven scientific law, at some point, something unnatural had to occur for the world to begin. You cannot believe the first law of thermodynamics and believe the evolution theory. But if that's not enough to convince you, let's look at the next topic. Number 2, the second law of thermodynamics. The second law of thermodynamics, also called increasing entropy, directly conflicts with the evolution theory. Now, entropy means energy decay, so increasing entropy means growing decay. To put it simply, it states that things will naturally fall into chaos, disorder, disrepair, etc. Everything in this world has a beginning. And as time progresses, things will naturally decay, like an apple turning rotten or a light bulb burning out. This is an indisputable law of the universe. The nature of everything is to decline. If that's not simple enough, let's put it this way. If a toy robot runs on a battery, the robot is not going to slowly figure out how to keep working without that battery. As the battery begins to run out of energy, the robot will begin to stop working. The nature of that robot is to eventually stop working. Everything is subjected to this law. But to an evolutionist, this proven law is not relevant. According to evolution, humans began at the very bottom and naturally over time grew stronger, smarter, and improved in every way. This theory of evolution irrefutably conflicts with this law of nature. But wait, there's more. Number 3, the age of our planet. Evolutionists believe our planet and everything on our planet has been evolving for millions, some even say billions of years. They say this because the only way someone would believe mankind started out as a fish is by telling them that it was so long ago no one could even prove it. And that's absolutely true. If the Earth was thousands of years old, then the drastic change evolutionists propose could be witnessed in the recorded history of mankind. You cannot believe in evolution without believing in an ancient planet and an ancient solar system. That's actually quite unfortunate for evolutionists because there is a staggering amount of evidence that proves our universe is actually quite young. For time's sake, here are just 2 examples. Example 1, moon dust. If the moon, like the Earth, was millions of years old, it would be covered in a huge dust layer. the rocks on the surface of the moon get worn down, decay, and reduce to dust, which, by the way, is the moon's increasing entropy. If the moon was as old as evolutionists say, then our lunar lander that made the mission to the moon would have just sank when it touched down, and the men inside would have suffocated. But as we know, the men did not suffocate in millions of years of dust buildup. Instead, they only found 1 to 2 inches of moon dust, equivalent to 6,000 to 8,000 years, which disproves the evolutionist theory of an ancient moon and an ancient planet, and aligns perfectly with the creationist view of a young moon and young planet. Example number 2, the Earth's rotation. The Earth's rotation is gradually slowing down. Different factors such as the gravitational drag of the sun and the moon are causing its decrease in speed. Although it is a very slow change, it is important because if the Earth was millions of years old, it would have either stopped spinning long ago, or it would have been spinning so fast at the beginning that it would have been reduced to a flat disk by now. This means that the Earth is only a few thousand years old, and it has not existed long enough for this decrease in speed to drastically affect the planet. By the way, this decline in speed is the Earth's increasing entropy, once again showing that this second law of thermodynamics affects every area of natural existence. Those are just 2 very simple examples of the evidence we have that proves that our Earth is nowhere near as old as evolutionists say, and we have not even scratched the surface of evidence yet. We can see proof that supports our young Earth by looking at the information we have on other planets in our solar system, our moon, other planets' moons, our atmosphere, meteors, comets, the geology of our planet, the geography of our planet, our oceans, general erosion, our trees, and so much more. The evidence is so undeniable and numerous that it proves for a fact that our planet has only existed for a couple thousand years, which is in direct opposition to the required age that is needed to support the evolution theory. Number 4, the perfect accident. According to evolutionists, the world began with a huge explosion, or as they like to call it, the Big Bang. Now, we have already talked about how ridiculous this is when you compare it to the first law of thermodynamics. And honestly, you don't need to be a super genius to disprove the Big Bang. You just have to know a little bit about the world you live in. For example, how can there be an explosion in the vacuum of space? Where did heat come from? How did it ignite? How did the tiny particles that got together get dense enough to explode if a total vacuum has no density? What, in the vast nothingness of space, slowed down the spinning particles that came from the Big Bang? Newton's first law says something had to create friction to interrupt this fast spinning particles that exploded when the Big Bang occurred. How can an explosion create such a perfectly balanced universe? The numbers just don't add up, and the chances are you can't even calculate. Every historical account of an explosion has proven that explosions cause chaos. So how did this one special explosion create a world that is controlled and governed by natural laws and order? It just doesn't make any sense no matter which way you slice it. The Earth could not have just happened naturally. Which is bad news for the evolutionists, because every aspect of the evolution theory hinges on natural reaction, improvement, and process of everything. And we see even right now our natural world defies even the most basic assumptions about evolution. For example, explosions naturally create chaos, not order. Everything naturally comes from something else and does not spontaneously make itself. The nature of everything that exists and has existed is to decay, not improve. Although there is one natural occurrence that could explain the evolution theory. Humans naturally want to defy God. To admit the earth was created is to admit that there is a higher power that mankind must answer to. But as long as evolutionists stay inside their little bubble of lies, they don't have to admit that they are held accountable for their actions. Which brings us to the last topic of this video. Number 5, purpose, morality, and hope. If the world was created by a random explosion, then that would mean there is no purpose in life. In the grand scheme of a world governed by evolutionary laws, there is no value in individual life. We all just exist for a short time and then we don't. Why even bother living? Furthermore, if there is no real purpose to life, then why do humans care about rules, laws, and morality? Why not just live however you want? Because in the end, there's no real consequences, right? Why help someone in need if life is just survival of the fittest? In a world of evolution, there is no morality. There is no consequence, no purpose, no reason, no explanation. There is no hope, no future, no individual value. In the world of evolution, there is no logical desire to help others. There is no sense of good or evil. There is no rules. Such a world breeds the mentality of, I don't care about anybody but myself, because in the end, we are just momentary blips caused by a giant cosmic accident. It is no wonder so many people live the way they do. It is no wonder we see a world that is taken over by a bleak and uncaring attitude. It is no wonder we see so many people try to take their own lives. Because in this world of randomness and meaninglessness, there is no purpose. However, we just spent this entire video proving that this sad and miserable world created by evolution doesn't actually exist. Let me put it this way. In the end, there are only really two options when it comes to the mentality of how the world began. You either believe nothing accidentally exploded into something, or you believe someone higher than ourselves created and designed the universe, everything in it, and all the laws that govern it. And in the end, it's really up to you to decide what you believe. But let me finish this video by saying this. If the world was created, then everything must have been created for a purpose. That means there is individual value. There is a reason for morality. And finally, there is real hope and real joy. I have never met a happy evolutionist. And really, who can blame them? They believe in a world that has no hope. But let me say this, there is hope, and that hope is in God. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you wish to discuss evolution or creation, feel free to contact us. We would love to chat with you. You can use any of our social medias, our email, or just the comment section of the video. Feel free to use whatever means you wish to start a conversation with us. If you want to learn more about God and why there is hope in Him, you can check out any of these videos. And if you want to do some of your own research, I encourage you to check out this book from Chick Publications. It's called The Evolution Handbook, and it is a large compilation of scientific facts that completely destroy evolution. If you like this video, please share it and help us go tell the world that God is real and there is true hope in Him.